What's up, guys? Milos here. So, one of the more confusing teams in the NBA, I would say, is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last night, they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they beat them by a pretty wide margin, pretty comfortably. But before that, they were on like a 5 game losing streak. They lost to Houston, San Antonio, Utah, the Chicago Bulls, and then the Golden State. But ever since their last loss against Golden State, they've been pretty on a roll with their games. It's a very small sample size, but to end this 3 game sample size, they beat OKC. And OKC, we all know, is a juggernaut team. They're one of the best teams in the league. They've taken a little dip as of late. They've been like 14-8, I believe, which is still a winning record, but it hasn't been nearly as impressive as what we saw in the start of the NBA season. And that's just due to a lot of injuries that they have. J-Dub is out. Isaiah Hartenstein missed time. A lot of guys missed time on this team. But for the Timberwolves to come and beat this team is very, very impressive. And what I saw last night was their defensive intensity. They came into this game ranked fourth in the defense, but they have an argument to be like a top two defensive team just because of how they scramble on defense. They have a lot of guys that are just scrappy and that will just take the initiative on the perimeter. Then they have a guy, Rudy Gobert, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and yes, very deserving. I know he gets a lot of slander for his Defensive Player of the Years, but this team wouldn't be as great defensively without a Rudy Gobert. And he, again, is proving that he's one of the best defensive players in the league. He's top 3 in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. So he can very much win his 5th Defensive Player of the Year, which would be extremely, extremely impressive. And also understandable just because of what he's been doing this season. They have kept their identity defensively all season, which is why they've been up afloat to a 30-19 record. While not a top 3 seed in the Western Conference, they're a top 5 team. They've been playing very well. And while Rudy Gobert has been holding down the fort defensively for this team, the guy who's been holding down the fort offensively for this team has to be Anthony Edwards. And I can't say enough about Anthony Edwards. I've been meaning to find a way to talk about him on my YouTube channel because what he's been doing has been very impressive. And he's definitely an MVP candidate. Wherever you rank him, I'll let you decide and be the judge of that. But he's improved his game a lot. He's improved even more as a three-point shooter and just a shooter in general. He has good splits around 50, 40, and almost 80% from the free throw line. Not quite 80, but almost there. He's just been scoring at all levels very efficiently. At the mid-range, he looks a lot more comfortable. He can shoot over guys. He gets to his pull-up very easily. His shooting form just looks textbook. It's been looking textbook ever since he's worked on it last season. His three-point shot is, again, improving at an extreme rate. He's a 41% three-point shooter. And the volume of threes he shoots and just the volume scorer that he is, it's very impressive to be 41% from the three-point line. Not a lot of guys do that. We only see guys like Steph Curry do that. And the fact Anthony Edwards is able to do that in his 5th year, I believe, is just extremely, impressive. He's averaging 29 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's been scoring at all levels. When you look at his game, when you look at the game, you can see that very easily that he is almost unguardable. Like the fact that he can shoot the 3 at an efficient clip, he can get to the rim easy, he's very athletic, he's fast, and he's skilled. He can go both hands, left, right. Anthony Edwards is a mix of a lot of skill, talent, and just dominance. And he's starting to come into his own, and I love what I'm seeing from him because it's just extremely, extremely impressive. The rest of his team, they've been doing well, but they could have been doing a little bit better in some ways. Early in the season, I think they were all trying to gel together, especially since they didn't have a point guard. Their point guard right now is Bones Highland, and I love Bones Highland. I love he's getting recognition. I love he's getting minutes. I love that he's playing. Bones isn't the type of point guard to get your offense involved. So they've been struggling to figure out how to get everyone involved, how to make sure offense is flowing well because they don't have a point guard. But I think they're starting to figure it out. They're hanging their hat defensively. because they're a very good defensive team, defensive-minded team. You have a guy like Dante DiVincenzo. He wasn't necessarily always known for defense. He's more of like a scrappy guy, but defensively, he's been a very good defensive guard. Last night, what I saw against SGA, he completely frustrated him. Now, I know SGA had 30 points on almost like 70% field goal shooting, which is ridiculous. But he had 4-5 turnovers, and that was due to Dante DiVincenzo frustrating him and just stealing the ball out of his hands from what I saw. Julius Randle has picked up defensively, and he's been a guy that's just been an energy guy all over. Same with McDaniels. He's always going to come defensively. Last night, he had a great shooting performance, had 21 points, and was very efficient from the field goal range. So they just have a lot of guys, again, that can do both, that can be offensive players when needed to help Anthony Edwards, but defensively, they can be very much locked down defensive players. And I think the Timberwolves need to lean more into that identity and just come more prepared to games, because there's a lot of teams that they lost to that I believe they shouldn't have lost to, like the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz have a great young core. I love Keontae. I love Lauri Markkanen. But you shouldn't be losing to a team that's only has 15 wins. That team isn't close to what you are. You should be way better than that team. Another team, Chicago. I mean, Chicago's like a 500 level team. And while they've been impressive, you still got to win those games. You can't like give up those games. So what I see that's really frustrating from, again, this Timberwolves team is that they just give up a lot of games. They give up games that I believe they should win. And the games that they do lose, they're all close in terms of like contenders. Like I see one game back in December 8th, Phoenix, 108 to 105. They lost to Phoenix, but Phoenix has been improving, and they've been without Devin Booker right now. But when they were with Devin Booker, they were very good in the Western Conference, and they're 7th in the Western Conference right now. But the Western Conference is very like tight knit, so it's the difference is like a few games between most of the seeds in the Western Conference. So again, Phoenix is understandable. Denver is understandable. Cleveland is sometimes understandable. Houston, San Antonio is understandable. So, like, I understand they're not going to always win, like, against the toughest competition. But the games, like how I mentioned again before, Utah, Chicago, those games you're supposed to win. Those games you're supposed to dominate. And what I really liked about this 3-game stretch where they've been on a 3-game win streak, they beat Golden State. Yes, they didn't have Stephen Curry, so you're supposed to win. Good job. They won. Dallas, they didn't have a Cooper Flag. You're supposed to beat them with Cooper Flag anyways. Good job. You won. Oklahoma City, just last night, they didn't have J-Dub. They didn't have A.J. Mitchell. They didn't have A.J. Mitchell, who's been a budding player on this team for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You're supposed to at least compete. They still had SGA, but I mean, you're supposed to win that game. And the fact that they won this game is very impressive to me, and it's another reason and why I'm getting closer on calling this Western Conference team a contender in the Western Conference. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I hope you guys are prayed up. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. I hope you guys are being safe. And if you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe, like the video, share the video with a friend. And until next time, guys, I'll see y'all later. Milos out. Peace.